Hello there, dear. Oh, no, don't be frightened. You are in a very, very safe place. No, take a seat. You just woke up and you're pretty groggy. There is no rush to go anywhere. Well, you're in my domain. Yes, welcome to the Midnight Library. Yes, well, I'm Paige Reed. Nice to meet you. Yes, oh, you don't have to introduce yourself. I already know who you are. Well, that's a bit of an interesting tale, to say the least. Well, I hope you didn't get too spooked. Yeah, well, waking up in a new, unknown place can always be quite terrifying. Are you dreaming? Well, sort of. This, like I said, is the Midnight Library. It is a place between places when you are in a state of between sleep and awakeness. Yes, sort of. It's sort of like sleep paralysis a bit, but instead of scary creatures, waking up unable to move, this is a bit of a different situation. A bit of a realm of its own, you could say. Oh yes, this is entirely all real. Nothing here is fake. Same with this candle here. Yes. Well, wow, I'm glad that you're here. I always love having people show up to my library. For you, it's a little bit less enjoyable of a reason to be here, shall I say. Essentially, in my library is a collection of books and other trinkets. But these books are not just any books. They are objects that have magical properties, shall I say. And in these magical properties, each contain a life that you have regretted not choosing, or a life path that you wish you had explored. So while I know what you currently do, may you give me a brief introduction to yourself and what you're currently doing, at least in this lifetime. Yes. Yeah. So, did you truly ever want to go into that, or something that you did out of necessity? Yes, I see. So, you are like many of the folks that I have come in to the Midnight Library. Many of those who meet me are ones like you, who chased a different life path, a different dream, because it is something that they had to do for financial life circumstances, or maybe they thought that was their dream, but really they had other dreams. Yes, yeah. So the premise of this library is it is a world between worlds, between dreams and awakeness, where I will guide you through, I believe we're going to do 3 life paths today. We're going to look through all your regrets and this life path that you wish you had lived. But understand that these life paths are all what they seem. Yes, and so while there may be dreams that you have truly wanted to chase or life paths you wish you had followed, I'm going to show you that we can remove those regrets. We don't want to remove those dreams, but I want to help you realize that maybe the life path you chose is a good enough one. Yes. So, before we get started, I need you to stare into my candle here, okay? Good, good. Stare it down. Look and watch the flame flickers. How it wobbles when I move my hand over it. How it goes from a light, bright, yellowish orange color to the burning aqua blue down at the base. Let your fears go, your worries about why you're here, or your skepticism. Let it all flicker away. Okay? You are here in my library, and I'm not here to harm you. I'm only here to help you. Okay? Take one more second to stare at the flame. Stare, 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 stare at the flame. Good, good, good. Let out a big sigh. Feel a little bit better. Okay, so we're gonna get started then, okay? Excellent, excellent. So give me a moment and I am going to pick out the first book, okay? Excellent. Here is the first book that we're going to be looking at. Now, this is not going to be one of the life paths that we're going to be looking at. We're going to start with this beautiful leather-bound book. Yes, it is a quite heavy book that is full of your regrets. Oh yes, yes, it is possible. While the book itself is lovely and beautiful, it holds the heavy weight of your regrets, whether they be things you said to a family member, the choices that you may have made in a situation that you wish you could have taken back, or the biggest things of them all that we're going to be amending for you today is the regret of not following a life path or a certain dream for your life. So, I'm going to open it up here. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to skip through a lot of these. As they don't pertain to our vision for today. We're trying to meticulously go through and find those 3 big life regrets. The rest of these are all fickle, smaller regrets that don't make your life or the book that heavy, though they can certainly add up. But I believe with everyone who comes through my Midnight Library that by amending your biggest life regrets, that we will relieve the weight that you carry on your shoulders and will help you feel better and even repair and mend some of the smaller regrets in the book. Here we go. I'm going to hand this to you. This is the page that, while it looks blank, contains the selection of your greatest regrets. I'll hold it right here. Now you take a look. Yes. So we've got the first one there. Down here in the middle, the second regret. And at the very bottom, if I can lift it there. Yes. The third and final. Do those all seem to be accurate to you? Okay, good. Yeah. Well, you hold on to it, and I'll let you feel how light it will get over time, okay? Yes, quite heavy, isn't it? I told you. If you're having trouble holding it, just put it on the side table beside you there. Yeah, it's right there. Good. Excellent. Alright, so sit down, dear. Get comfortable. As we go on, you can even close those eyes if you'd like to rest and listen as we go through the book together, okay? Okay, for sure. And what is your question? Yes, that's a very valid, very fair question. So, how we remove these regrets is that we'll be going through reading parts of the book that is essentially a existing timeline of your life. And as we go through, read sections, go over it, you will get a sense of the life that you could have had if you followed that path. Yes, essentially, it is a version of you that does exist in a different timeline. It's okay if you don't believe me, but that is how the way of the universe is. And so, in this other timeline, we'll be going through the book, reading sections of it together, working through it, and then I will be able to, with your permission, once you get to a mental space where you will give up that regret, we can extract the regret from that timeline, put it into a little magical, let's say, device that I have that's going to help remove and collect all those regrets from you, so that it will lighten the book of regrets and your life. Okay? It's a very simplified version, but the best way I can explain it, especially for a standard human mind, if you don't mind me saying. Give me one moment. Let me grab the first book here. Alright, so here I have the first book we'd be going through that contains your alternate timeline if you decided to go through and follow the life as a deep sea diver. Yes, because that's the one of the ones you regret the most, yes. So I'm going to go through this lovely, bright, weathered book, and as I flip through to find a section to read, I would love if you would just expound, I guess, upon why you loved diving so much, why it was a passion and a dream to work in that field, and then why you left and things like that. Okay? Good. Weathered but stunning book, I'd say. Yeah. That sounds amazing, but I understand why you had to leave. Yeah, unfortunately life can just get in the way and ruin our dreams and plans, unfortunately. I think you've shared a lot of your story, which is lovely. Thank you. I appreciate you being so open and honest with me. Yes, of course, dear. Of course, of course, of course, of course. Well, since you've been explaining everything to me and have explained all of it for me now, the next part of what we're going to do is talk about why you regret not following it. so I'm going to go through and read a section of this book, okay? And as I read it, I want you to close those eyes of yours and think about and picture why specifically you regret not following this dream. Not just simply, oh, I regret not following a dream or a thing I loved, but specifically why. I would love you to just think about exact details of why you regret not following this dream, okay? But don't share it with me at the moment. Just close your eyes, think about it, envision it, and I'm going to read some sections of the book. And as I do, and as you're envisioning your regrets, I will be able to slowly see these regrets pull and lift off the pages, and then I'm going to be able to extract them, okay? Don't worry about the details, okay? It's all some magic, hoo-ha, la-dee-doo, things you won't understand. Just enjoy relaxing and closing those eyes, okay? And feeling the weight lift off your shoulders, okay? Good. So, eyes closed. Excellent. Keep thinking about what your thoughts are. Now I'm going to read a section of this book, and again, eyes closed, picturing your regrets, okay? I'm going to read my section, and then we will start the extracting, okay? For a quarter of an hour, I trode on the sand, sown with the impalpable dust of shells. The hull of the Nautilus, resembling a long shoal, disappeared by degrees. But its lantern, when darkness should overtake us in the waters, would help to guide us on board by its distinct rays. Soon, forms of objects outlined in the distance were discernible. I recognized magnificent rocks hung with tapestry of zoophytes of the most beautiful kind, and I was at first struck by the peculiar effect of this medium. It was then 10 in the morning. The rays of the sun struck the surface of the waves at rather an oblique angle, and at the touch of their light, decomposed by refraction as though a prism, flowers, rocks, plants, shells, polypi were shaded at the edges by the 7 solar colors. It was marvelous, a feast for the eyes. This complication of colored tints, a perfect kaleidoscope of green, yellow, orange, violet, indigo, and blue. In one word, the whole palette of an enthusiastic colorist. Why could I not communicate to conceal the lively sensations which were mounting to my brain, and rival him in expressions of admiration? For aught I knew, Captain Nemo and his companion might be able to exchange thoughts by means of signs previously agreed upon. So, for want of better, I talked to myself. I declaimed in the copper box which covered my head, thereby expending more air in vain words than was perhaps expedient. Still picturing, good. The words and the story are starting to lift off the page. I can see your thoughts and your regrets, though I'm reading different words. By ways of my own means, I am able to see the lifting and see the thoughts that you're thinking right now. Yes, we're almost there. Various kinds of isis clusters of pure tufted coral, prickly fungi, and anemones formed a brilliant garden of flowers, enameled with porphyry, decked with their collaterets of blue tentacles, sea stars studding the sandy bottom, together with astrophytons, like fine lace embroidered by the hands of naiads, whose festoons were waved by the gentle undulations caused by our walk. It was a real grief to me to crush under my feet the brilliant specimens of mollusks which strewed the ground by thousands, of hammerheads, Donaceae, vertebral bounding shells, of staircases and red helmet shells, angels' wings, and many others produced by this inexhaustible ocean. But we were bound to walk, so we went on, whilst above our heads waved shoals of Piscelides, leaving their tentacles to float in their train, Medusae whose umbrellas of opal and rose pink, escalloped with a band of blue, sheltered us from the rays of the sun, and fiery Pelagiae, which, in the darkness, would have strewn our path with phosphorescent light. Okay. I can see everything. All are just seeping off the pages. Yes. You can keep your eyes closed if you like for this part, or you're free to open them as I do my bit of extracting, okay? Okay. The majority of it. Give me a second here. Yes, a fascinating method, isn't it? Yes, it won't reattach to the book, don't you worry, or to yourself. All these bits of the regrets and thoughts of the life you wish you had are going to float around us in the air, but I have some barriers up so they won't attach back into the books or back into us, okay? Yes, so not to worry. Okay, and then at the end, we will then go through and to relieve you of them fully, attach them into a magical object that you will see later, okay? Good. Okay. Well, I think that is book number 1 finished. How are you feeling? Why don't you give that book a little lift as well? Yeah, pick up the book of regrets right beside you there. Yes, it's a little bit lighter, isn't it? Excellent, excellent, excellent. You seem to be making actually better progress than I thought at this point. Amazing. So, if you don't mind getting right into it, we're going to move on to book number 2. Okay? Good. Now, tell me, dear, what is your second life regret? Yes. So, this is your regret. That essentially, when you were younger, you didn't move out to an island to go live and work in the beautiful countryside of your aunt and uncles. Yes. Yeah, I understand, dear. No, you don't need to apologize. Not at all. It is a dream that you had, and you wish you had followed through with. Yes, so as you can actually see, this book is a little bit smaller and feels lighter, as this one is a dream that, while it was a big deal in your life, wasn't as big of a deal as the dream to be a deep sea diver. Yeah, so in the Midnight Library, the size of the book itself indicates the size of your regret. Makes sense. So that would be one of the biggest regrets in your life, while this one is more of a standard size, okay? But it is certainly a regret that, while not as big of a deal in the grand scheme of your life, at a time really affected you. As you can see, this book is heavily used, heavily damaged. There's a lot of lines, wrinkles, scarring to all of it. Some faded, sun-stained lines on the edges of the pages as well. So it indicates that you have come back and forth to this regret quite a bit. It's understandable. Alright, well, as with the first book, I'd like you to talk through why this was a dream of yours, how it was going to go about when it happened to you, etc. And then we'll continue on, with the second part, okay? Excellent. Ready? Good. Oh, that's lovely. And why they're particular? Yeah. Oh, I love that. I see. And so by that point, it didn't make any sense anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. Seemed like something you were very excited about. Yes. For sure. Okay, well, did you have anything else to say about that, dear? No, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sure, this is very upsetting for you to go through and relive these memories, but it's very important for the removal of that regret to remember, respect, acknowledge, and then be able to slowly let go. Okay. Alright, well, again, close those eyes for me, okay? As I read you a section of the story here, okay? And again, I'm going to watch for the regrets, the words to lift right off the page for me. thinking about what you specifically regret about that decision, okay? Good. All right. Let's begin. Spring had come once more to Green Gables. The beautiful, capricious, reluctant Canadian spring, lingering along through April and May in a succession of sweet, fresh, chilly days, with pink sunsets and miracles of resurrection and growth. The maples in Lover's Lane were red-budded, and little curly ferns pushed up around the dryad's bubble. Away, up in the barrens, behind Mr. Silas Salone's place, the mayflowers blossomed out, pink and white stars of sweetness under their brown leaves. All the schoolgirls and boys had one golden afternoon gathering them, coming home in the clear, echoing twilight with arms and baskets full of flowery spoil. Do you need a little bit more time, dear? For sure, yes. I found another section that I'll read here for you. One June evening, when the orchards were pink, blossomed again, when the frogs were singing silvery sweet in the marshes about the head of the lake of shining waters, and the air was full of the savor of clover fields and balsamic fir woods, Anne was sitting by her gable window. She had been studying her lessons, but it had grown too dark to see the book, so she had fallen into wide-eyed reverie, looking out past the boughs of the Snow Queen, once more bestarred its tufts of blossom. In all respects, the little gable chamber wasn't changed. The walls were as white, the pincushion as hard, the chairs as stiffy and yellowy and upright as ever. Yet the whole character of the room was altered. It was full of a new vital, pulsing personality that seemed to pervade it and be quite independent of schoolgirl books and dresses and ribbons, and even of the cracked blue jug full of apple blossoms on the table. It was as if all the dreams, sleeping and waking, of its vivid occupant had taken a visible although immaterial form and had tapestried the bare room with splendid filmy tissues of rainbow and moonshine. All right. I can see your regrets and your thoughts quite clearly now on the pages. Are we ready? Excellent. Okay. Okay, so these are quite light in comparison to the last one. Yes. Well, I believe that the final book will be even lighter. And one more. Okay. Oh, and you do feel light. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear that, dear. Let me just wipe your tears. It's okay. Okay. these tears of relief or tears of sadness? For sure. I've shed many of those. Okay, well, now that you're that much lighter and the book is that much lighter, I think we have one more book to go through, okay? One more final lifeline. Okay, well, you sit right there. I'm gonna grab this last one, okay? Excellent, hold on. And finally, I have this very old, very weathered book. I'm assuming this is a regret that you've had since you were very young. It's old, it's weathered, but you've kept it close to your heart. Well, would you like to explain to me as I go through? For sure. So, this final regret is... Okay. Yes, I see. Oh, I'm sorry. So, ever since you were young, if I'm understanding this correctly, is you regret not going into detective and police work and solving the disappearance of your great aunt. Yes, I see. Oh, that's tough to deal with as a child, for sure. Well, if you are ready to let go of this regret, mind going through everything for me? Excellent. Let's begin. This book, while weathered, does feel light. Feels like you don't regret this as much compared to the others, so this shouldn't take too long. Yes, that would make anyone want to go into that line of work. Take care of their family, for sure. Okay, so that's the story. For sure, dear, for sure. Okay. Well, let me go through then. Again, one last time, if you don't mind. Close those eyes for me. We're going to go through, and I'm going to read as you think deeply and longingly about this regret, okay? The girls resumed their cautious advance over the brow of the hill, Helen's ankle now feeling very much better. They had a full view of the part of the grounds that had been hidden from them. Sloping from the front rear of the house was a wide lawn with gravel walks and flower beds, making another charming picture of rural beauty. The house was set in the center and had a broad veranda shaded by tall trees. At the foot of the lawn and at the rear was a wide grassy space which Nancy surmised was used as a landing field for the airplane. At this time, the aircraft was not in sight. Trees of every description surrounded the place. The lonesomeness of it all was appalling. The charged wire fence made it more private than ever. They don't want strangers to come here. That's plain, grumbled Helen, surveying the scene. Just below the brow of the hill, and connected with the house by a long arbor, was a group of outbuildings. A carriage shed evidently converted into a garage, a good-sized barn, and a chicken yard. Do you need a moment longer? For sure. 1 second. Okay, yes, I just noticed everything's popping up here. Okay, and removal time here. Almost there. Just a couple more big pieces here. One more. How does that feel, dear? Knew it was gonna work. And how does the Book of Regrets feel? Let me take it. Let me see. Yeah. Oh yes, it is so much lighter, isn't it? Good. Well, I'm so happy for you, dear. Yes, don't worry. Glad to be of help. Though our work here is not 100% done, we do need to move on and do that collection, okay? For sure. Hold on. Get comfy. Give me a moment. Where is that object? Hold on a moment. Now, don't be alarmed by my special device here. It may look like a simple magic ball. Don't mind it. It's a little dusty. I haven't had someone through in a couple years. But anyways, this is a magic device that will capture all of the negative regrets and bits of loss, I guess, feelings related to those regrets that have collected in this room now that we've removed them from the books in the library, okay? This device is going to collect them and keep them so that you will never regret these things again, at least in a way that's unhealthy and harmful, okay? So what I'm going to need you to do is stare directly into it for a moment, okay? Think about how light and free you'd like to feel, okay? Good, good. Alright, now you're free to close those eyes at this point if you'd like, or keep them open, as I'm just going to move this magical device around your face and around kind of you in this room, because I can tell that these regrets are trying to make their way back to you. Once they've been removed from the books, they can't go back into the books, so they will go into the next best thing, which is their original host. Yes. Don't mind me, I'm gonna be as close as possible, but I won't be touching you with the magical device, okay? Good, 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 good. Okay, it's doing quite a good job. Let me move it over here, back over here. Good. Now this side. Collected almost all of it. Just up and down, up and down, up and down. And then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, and I'm going to do one final close pass to you here. Swirl all those regrets into my crystal ball. Okay. Good. I believe I've collected all of them. Oh no, you can't see it. It's only for magic beings. Creatures of divination, the in-between world, etc., etc. Don't worry about them. They're no worry and matter to you. Okay. And how's that feel? Free? Good. Excellent. Well, my dear, I believe your time is almost up. It's about time to wake you up and send you back along your way and back into your life, free of these heavy, heavy regrets. It has been my pleasure. Well, to wake you up, I'm going to need to grab one of my candles here. And we're going to do what we did closer to the beginning. So I'm going to have you stare. Candle here, okay? Stare at the candle, at the candle. Okay. Watch the flame flicker with its yellow and blue tones. And I'm going to count down and then you will be awake, okay? Good. Well, before I do that, I want to thank you for going along so well with everything and all the magic we were doing today. Some people are not as receptive to the whimsy of the Midnight Library, but you were, so I thank you for that. Yes, well, I know it's a lovely place, but I hope for your sake you don't have to come back here. Well, if I ever do see you again, I'll be sure to help you once again. Okay, good. Alright, now, time to wake up. Okay? And remember, stare at the candle. Stare. At the light. And down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.